Join me today as we dive into the shocking footage of one of the most devastating floods in recent history. Witness the sheer power of nature as entire communities are swallowed by raging waters, leaving destruction and heartbreak in their wake. The eastern United States was caught off guard over the weekend as a powerful storm unleashed relentless rain, fierce winds, and deadly flooding across multiple states. Communities from Kentucky to Georgia faced widespread devastation, with rivers overflowing, homes submerged, and thousands of residents forced to evacuate. The scale of the disaster left millions grappling with power outages, impassable roads, and mounting concerns over additional storms expected later in the week. Authorities described the flooding as one of the most severe weather events in recent memory, with historic water levels recorded in several areas. Rescue teams worked tirelessly to save stranded individuals, while officials warned that the crisis was far from over. As rivers continued to rise, the looming threat of freezing temperatures raised fears of worsening conditions, making recovery efforts even more challenging. Communities across the eastern U.S. were grappling Monday with major flooding from a storm that brought heavy rain and strong winds to multiple states over the weekend, causing widespread power outages, evacuations, water rescues, and over a dozen deaths. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, whose disaster declaration was approved by President Donald Trump, described the storm as one of the most serious weather events the state has seen in a decade. In Kentucky, the storm has left tens of thousands without power or water and has forced authorities to close a possible record number of roads, Beshear said. Swift water crews rescued over 1,000 people from floodwaters. In West Virginia, Governor Patrick Morrisey said rivers will continue rising this week as search and rescue teams continue to look for missing people. Morrisey, as well as officials in Kentucky, Virginia, and Tennessee, have warned of the danger of cresting rivers and said they could prompt additional evacuations. Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin submitted a major disaster declaration to Trump, citing catastrophic flooding that reached historic levels in Buchanan County and triggered over 150 swift water rescues. Authorities across the eastern U.S. urged people to stay off the roads and warned that an incoming storm could drop several inches of snow and cause the floodwaters to freeze, creating treacherous travel conditions later this week. In the meantime, crews were clearing roads and linemen were working to restore power before temperatures drop. In Pikeville, a rural county in eastern Kentucky that was battered by the storm, shopping centers, schools, and homes and were inundated by floodwaters. At least 3 people in Pike County died due to the floods, according to Beshear. Pikeville Mayor Jimmy Carter said 100 people were rescued by swift water crews in the county. As water levels began receding Monday, Carter said the goal had shifted to clean up and assess the homes that were flooded, the businesses that were flooded. In Kentucky, 11 people have died as a result of the weekend storm, including a mother and her 7-year-old child, who were found in a submerged vehicle Saturday night in Bonneville. Beshear said other confirmed victims of the flooding include 3 people in Pike County, a woman in Washington County, a man in Hardin County, a man in Floyd County, and an unidentified person in Nelson County. West Virginia's governor said in a news conference Monday that officials have confirmed 1 fatality, but are withholding further information until the family is notified. In Georgia, 1 person was killed in Atlanta after an uprooted tree fell on a home, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution reported. The latest in a chain of closely packed winter storms was taking aim at the Midwest on Monday before rolling toward the east for what could be the biggest snow yet to hit the region, minus or nothing at all, forecasters said. Flood watches and warnings remained active Monday across much of the eastern U.S., from Ohio and Kentucky to the Gulf Coast states. The National Weather Service warned that rivers are continuing to crest, keeping some areas inundated with floodwaters more than a day after the most extreme storm conditions abated. Beshear said on Monday that the Kentucky, Rolling Fork, and Green River basins are all either above their flood stage or are expected to surpass their banks. He said water may not recede in some areas until late this week, The Rolling Fork River near Boston, Kentucky, is one of a couple of waterways expected to crest in the coming days, according to the National Water Prediction Service. The Kentucky River south of Lexington has crested and begun to recede.